So we're talking to Chris Webb now, who got in touch over the weekend to come on the show, as you can too by emailing sarah@sarahperium.com. He is the treasurer of the Royal New Zealand Institute of Horticulture and is here to discuss that there's a wide range of jobs across the hort sector rather than just picking kiwi fruit. Welcome to the show, Chris, and thank you so much for reaching out to get in touch to come on the show. Firstly, can you just tell us a bit more about the Institute and who it represents across the board?
Royal New Zealand Institute of Horticulture is the oldest, most prestigious institute in New Zealand for horticulture. Having the royal warrant is obviously very important to us. The Institute looks after all aspects of horticulture with various different areas that we look after.
And
like we have with Trees Group, we also doing a lot of work.
Oh, sorry, Chris, it's just breaking.
And we're doing a lot of work
there
on the plant list in New Zealand of plants that are in New Zealand that are not necessarily recorded as by the Ministry of Primary Industries. It means that plants can't get into the country if we want to bring that plant into the country, even though it is in the country. We also have awards for people who have done a lot of work for horticulture, fruit, plant raiser, and Associate of Honour and Garden History, and the fellowship. The plant raiser normally goes to, has in recent years gone to maybe ornamental horticulture as opposed to fruit growing and things like that, but we are hoping in this year to award a fruit grower, a man that's done a lot of work regarding fruit as a plant raiser.
So you wanted to speak tonight on the show about highlighting the wide range of jobs across the horticulture sector, from academia through to the frontline harvesting.
Well, that's correct. You know, horticulture can be in any part of New Zealand. You take a moment, there was some controversy last week about Southland, about getting tulip bulbs off to the USA for the planting in this autumn in about October in the USA. It's a big business in Southland. It employs a lot of people, both full-time and part-time. We go to the other end of the country to the far north, and we have avocados been growing on some of the what would land that normally wouldn't be useful. It's providing work for people in the far north. We have a very successful berry grower in the far north that's employing a large number of people that potentially would have been unemployed. Kiwi fruit industry, and as you mentioned, in the Bay of Plenty and other parts of New Zealand, we have apples in Otago, Nelson, Hawke's Bay, and squash and cut flowers and orchids. It's a huge industry, and that's just the commercial for our stomachs. But we also have the ornamental side for, you know, people love gardening. Before the lockdown, what was the busiest places in town?
Couldn't buy seedlings. You couldn't buy seedlings, and you could still buy flour. So how's that?
You could buy, and you couldn't buy seeds at one stage either.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will encourage people to become interested again a bit more in gardening and horticulture. Always work out there. It's good work. Granted, it might be a bit hard physically, but you're out in fresh air. You have lots of skills, and you can do work overseas. Barbara Wheeler, who is a curator at Dunedin Botanical Gardens at the moment, she's worked in places like Sydney and Israel, and currently she's on a scholarship, a prestigious scholarship, to the Longwood Botanical Gardens in Pennsylvania. Hope she can get home in a couple of months' time. So, you know, there's an opportunity to see the world, learn new skills, make people happy, because you can turn out a garden and people love looking at gardens and plants. You know, what do they say to us at the moment? Go and look at, walk in a park. You know, somebody has had the foresight 100 years ago or 50 years ago to plant trees.
I
We're now getting the benefit of. You look at Hagley Park.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Domain.
the Christchurch Botanical Gardens is just an exact of what you were just saying there as well. The romance of gardening is certainly, I think, coming back with the nostalgia of a lot of things after lockdown. But imagine being able to make your passion into a career, and like you said, the health benefits of being in a physical role, but also potentially in an influential role around those physical roles as well. What sort of work do you think that we need to do in our training organisations? We broadcast here out of Lincoln University, obviously the hub of a lot of training in these fields. What, in this new norm with COVID-19 affecting the way that we can consume knowledge, what's some of those opportunities do you think, Chris?
Well, I think in today, the sad events that have occurred in the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's going to be a big emphasis again on people doing jobs that might not have been in the gig economy, but still are very essential. So hopefully the careers advisors and people like that will at schools will encourage people to maybe work in horticulture, say it does have a future, just not for the bottom of the line people. You can go and work in plant science, like of land care research at Lincoln. You can go and work for a breeding company, breed, rust-resistant fruit or whatever it might be. You can then go and maybe have an engineering background and go and work for an organisation that's making better machinery to make things safer, sprays, all this sort of things, research to make our plants healthier. There's so much opportunity out there, but people are not aware of it because it's not sort of a sexy industry. I mean, that's what we want to get through to especially the schools. The most important thing is for the youngsters to get their full driver's licenses so they can get out to work. Now, some firms today only want staff with full driver's licenses, and it's quite scary that Sarah went and got her driver's license a day after she turned the legal age.
And I can tell you they probably shouldn't have given it to me either, Chris.
23-year-olds haven't got their full driver's license, which is a liability for them, and they can't get a job because the employer, for insurance or whatever reason, wanted somebody with a full driver's license. So there's lots of little things help people get jobs. I mean, there's things like trees for survival, seedlings for service, which some of the schools around the country do. This is the only time that some of these kids today actually see what a tree looks like, literally, how to plant a tree, and it encourages them to go and maybe get a job doing horticulture. It could be something like working at a golf course. The golf courses are now being taken off the banned list of working.
Yeah.
The parks. Not everyone wants to have the high-flying job, but there are opportunities to go up the ladder. When you get to the stage that you feel confident, you might be able to start your own business and be successful. And
can I say this? My brother-in-law did a hort degree out of Cromwell Polytech. Went straight into a management role straight out of because he was a capable Kiwi with his head switched on, and the shortage was there. He was elevated really high, and now working in the avocado industry in Bay of Plenty. So, there's a huge amount of opportunities there to progress. And so thank you so much for taking the time to join us, Chris.
I'm pleased to do it, and
I really, really appreciate you reaching out and watching Sarah's Country and being an avid follower of what we're doing. So thank you so much, Chris.
This is Sarah's Country.